Hello again, YouTube. Conspiracy Boy still. So this is sort of my part 2 Carboot haul video. All this stuff is, well, not all non-Ghostbuster related, but didn't come from the Ghostbuster seller, let's say. And yeah, didn't pick up great bits, but found a few bits. So we'll run through some stuff quick. First purchase of the day was Pokemon Stadium. Oops, I've moved my position, so it means I have to hold this differently. We bought that for £5, not exactly cheap. It was someone who was just selling their old games, but they'd obviously reset them beforehand. Pokemon Stadium was the only one that I really wanted to play. They did have Mario Kart on the Nintendo 64 for £20, but they'd scratched the box, because it was boxed. They'd scratched the box and written £20 on it. Rick's friends managed to get a boxed Nintendo 64 game for £10, which he said was really rare and hard to come by, and everyone just snapped those Nintendo 64 games up straight away. Maybe I should have bought the Mario Kart one for 20 quid, because I do like Mario Kart, but I've already got the game, and I don't think I really want to pay 20 quid just for the box. But anyway, so that was the first purchase of the day, Pokemon Stadium, £5. I think the second purchase of the day was this tiny little Sonic the Hedgehog. He was 50p, which is a bit expensive, I would have thought, for this tiny little Sonic, but he's actually in really good condition, and I have a feeling he runs in with the same line as those little bots that I got a job of earlier in the year. They're like the little bad guy Sonic the Hedgehog things, and they seem to be worth a fair old amount. So I picked him up for 50p because he looked in good nick, and I think he's one of those old school retro cool ones. What would have been next then? At some point I randomly picked this up, this odd little pink looking contraption. How do I open it up? There we go. I looked inside, and at first I thought it was Polly Pocket, so I looked at the bottom and saw there was what looks like it clips into something else, but there's no maker's mark or date or anything like that on there. And then when I looked a bit closer at the pictures at the side, it's got a very Aladdin-y feel to it. And then I noticed the rug and the lamp, and yeah, I think this is some sort of little Aladdin Polly Pocket playset. So I asked them how much they wanted. They only wanted 20p, and I thought for 20p it was probably worth doing a bit of research on, and you never know, I might chuck it in with a Polly Pocket job lot that I'm going to be getting rid of soon. So that was that. And then I saw this, Sims Medieval. The lady in my life plays The Sims, and this looked like a fancy edition. I didn't actually open it up when I was there. It just felt heavy, and I knew that really I should be looking at something like that, just a sleeve. So to see it in this box thing meant it was probably worth something. She only wanted £2 for it, so I thought that was a good deal. Comes with this little fake plastic seals with an adhesive strip on the back in case you want to pretend you're a fancy medieval sim, I suppose. Yep, so we picked that up for £2. Lady was very grateful for that. Then I saw this. These people had just arrived, and they were unpacking their car, and they had a big box that said girls' toys, and a big box that said boys' toys, and then a few assorted bits on the table. So I looked in the boys' toys box, and I found this. And I was like, oh, that's some cool looking Mech Warrior or Exo Squad thing. And on the back, it's got an LCD screen, and it looks like it's quite a cool LCD game, like probably a Mech Warriors one. So I looked on the bottom, wherever it's printed, yeah, on the bottom, and it's dated 2000 Microsoft Corporation. So I was a bit thrown that it was Microsoft. I thought maybe it's related to a video game, but now in retrospect I'm thinking maybe it's just the game is maybe made by Microsoft, even though it's stamped Tiger as well. So I don't really know what the story is with this mech dude, but I thought we'll ask them what they want anyway. And as I was trying to get their attention, I saw they had this Lego City playmat, which will probably go to my friend's kids. There's a few different designs to pick from. I think we've got just, I don't know, police and construction? Yeah, so there's a police version and a construction version, and there's one on each side perhaps. But yeah, it's still quite cool. obviously made to go with Lego-sized vehicles and whatnot, so I thought that was really cool. So I picked the two of them up, and I asked the lady, what would you like for the pair? And she turned to her son and said, well, both of those were yours. What do you think? And he went, £1? Now, he must have been like 16, 17, I would have thought. Maybe 15, maybe the youngest. And so I went to reach in my pocket, and she was like, oh, no, you can't sell those for £1. Well, that's got to be £2.50 at least, and that's probably got to be £3. It's like, oh, it's just gone from £1 to £5. Like, I'm probably not going to buy anything at that price. Or so I thought. Little did I know the Ghostbusters that were in store for me. So she added up £3 and £2.50 and came to the total of £3.50. And I went, and she said, no, £6, £6.50. And I was like, well, it's just getting more and more expensive. I said, well, would you just take £2.50 for the pair? And she went, oh yes, that'd be fine. So I don't know. It was very complicated, and you know what it's like when someone first gets out the car, everyone just jumps on them. So she was getting a bit flustered, I think. But so we got the pair for £2.50 in the end there. Next little lot is probably this one. There was a big stack of books under the table, and then like a few books set aside that they were probably going to charge more for. And I said, oh, how much are your books under the table? Oh, £1. So I just went, right, we'll have that for £1. It looks pretty good shape. Goes through every X-Men and X-Men bad guy you can think of. Nice detail. Some of the corners have been folded, admittedly, but yeah, I think this will be a good addition to some of my friends' kids who are just starting to learn about the superheroes. So whenever they start saying, oh, you know, who's such and such character, we can just pull out the manual and say, right, so let's have a look at Weapon X. There's a bit of grit in there, nice. But still, wasn't bad for £1, I didn't think. Not the best of condition, but certainly not the worst. Stumbled across someone who didn't have any vintage toys necessarily, but just seemed to have this sat around. Some weird sort of 1980 Fisher Price toy there. It doesn't look corroded on the inside, amazingly. It really is amazing considering how old it is. But it looks like someone's written inside 358 Cleely or something. God knows. But yeah, we wanted £2 for that. Doesn't sound like undamaged to me, but I didn't think of shaking it when I was a kid at the boot sale. But yeah, so that was only £2, might be worth something. Yeah, it doesn't sound good, does it? Oh dear. Oh well, it's only £2, isn't it? Found someone who was selling DVDs, DuckTales on DVD. Now it was volume 3, so I imagine this was part of a box set. It's only one little disc, but it said over 2 hours of feather-raising hilarity. So I thought, yeah, it's probably worth 50p. So DuckTales, woo! And then probably the last stuff we got at this Carboot sale before we moved on to the next one. I was walking past one of the last stalls to arrive, and it all looked like junk, like skipped house clearance stuff. And as I was going past, I was looking at this box that was just full of, I don't know, farm animals and like dinosaurs and, you know, just animals. Nothing action figure in there. And, whoops. And then for some reason, my eye was drawn to this shark-looking fella. Still trying to put them together now. This shark-looking fella is probably a Beast Wars Transformer. It's not one I recognise. Now I haven't looked it up to see, you know, the date on it or anything. There's one bit broken that I can see now, but the rest of it all looks in fairly good shape. Oh, there's the date. Hasbro, made in China, Tomy. No year though. Well, that doesn't help. Oh well. So yeah, I picked that up. How much do you want for that, sir? 50p? I said sold. Then someone else started asking him something, and he got chatting to them, and it was one of those where you have to just sort of sit around and wait to give them the money, because you can't just throw it at them from the distance they are. And as I'm looking around, on the floor, I noticed the Apple logo. And so I picked this up, turn it over, it's filthy. absolutely filthy. Open it up. It's pretty dirty, but it's an official MacBook, so I think, oh. So I hold that side up and I go, how much do you want for that, mate? Thinking he's just going to look at this dirty white hump and go, oh, I don't know, just have it, mate. Saves me chucking it in the bin. But he doesn't. He goes, oh, what's that, mate? Pass it here. Like he'd never seen it before in his life. So I pass it over to him and he opens it up and sees what it is. And he goes, oh, that's an Apple MacBook. And I thought, oh, here we go. Price is going to go through the roof. He goes, well, I've got no cables for it. Don't know if it works. Well, why don't you risk it for £2, eh? £2? 50p for that? Yeah, go on, for £2.50 we'll take Apple MacBook and transformer thing. So, as I say, I've got no way of knowing if it works yet, but that was that. £2.50. Hopefully gets me a better laptop than the one I'm currently recording on. Then we left that car boot, went off to the next one. We got there, it was heaving. In fact, when we were leaving the first car boot, there were so many people trying to get in that they were just doing laps of the car park. And when I tried to pull out, I almost bloody hit someone, to be fair. I reversed back and was like, oh no, go on. And they went, no, if you're leaving, can we have your space? Well, yeah, of course you can. And they were so grateful. And yeah, people were just lapping the place looking for it. Anyway, got to the next car boot sale and it was the same. There's one side of the road, which is like the main road. It's probably a good, I don't know, 250 metres, 500 metres, something like that. Round, curvy road before you get to the main road. And that was full, right to the brim. And then the other side, it's just country lanes. And there was only about 10 cars that side, so I snuck in the quick side, but I think people must have been queuing for like 20 minutes, at least half hour to get in. Not me though. Oh. But anyway, we got there late. It must have been like 10 o'clock, 10:30, something like that. Had a little walk round. First thing I picked up was this. It was a bucket and it was overflowing with toys. And I was having a little rummage and something caught my eye. And it was this nice little Thundercat. So I was like, so I pulled him out and I said, how much do you want for this one? And he went, you have to buy the lot. And I thought, oh, here we go. This is when it's all McDonald's toys and trash like this, and it costs £80 to buy the box and you just get one figure. And I said, alright then, well, how much is the whole box? And he went, it's £1. So I went, yeah, alright. Alright, we'll have it. So I'll quickly run through the trash, then we'll run through the not so trash. But the only real winner in the whole bunch is the Thundercat. This is the only retro toy in the whole lot for some bloody reason. So McDonald's trash is this, flashing faced odd looking thing. This is Monsters something or other. You got these two people that look like they may have been on a plastic paddle boat. Cheap plastic, no action to them, rubbish. Some sort of like Chap May looking soldier, maybe from Poundland, but frankly probably looks too good for that. Maybe B&M. This dude with his Be Wild shirt and his poor attempt at camouflage tiger print trousers. You can't just camouflage one half, can you, bud? But yeah, that's him. Ice Age plastic fella. I don't know. Of course, the obligatory spinning hamster buddies. Go hamsters, go hamsters, go hamsters. No. Knights from some sort of early learning centre nonsense. But those hamsters are making some strange noises. Oh, we've seen you. Probably the female from Alvin and the Chipmunks, which is just got nothing to it. It's just a piece of plastic. I don't know why anyone would want that. I don't know if this is like a Christmas thing or not. It's just bizarre looking and its face can change. Joy. This dinosaur, which is probably the highest quality feeling thing in the whole lot, but no maker's mark. I don't know what it goes to. It probably doesn't go to anything. It's just a little dinosaur. Baby tiger cub leopard, animal. And this little rat, maybe from Ratatouille, I don't know. Yeah, that was like the McDonald's-y trash. There were some other bits in here that are probably, you know, not awful, but just not the type of thing I'd pick up, but, you know, might be useful for someone. That's a bit trashy, actually. That should be in the trash pile. That's some Olympic British nonsense. I think this is from Phineas and Ferb, which my friend's kids used to like. Not sure they still do, but we'll find out. There's a little Scooby-Doo here. Looks like he's got a button on his back that makes his eyes pop out and tongue go, but that might be a little McDonald's thing. Not sure, they probably do make them that size these days. But again, they like Scooby-Doo as well, so that might go to him. This fella, I think, is what the Rat King looks like nowadays in the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I think that's a little mini Turtles fella. I think this guy is part of the Turtles now as well. There was a Triceratops guy when I was a kid, but he didn't look as pants as that. Got this Hulk with like a buzz cut. Never seen such a happy buzz cut Hulk. Don't know if that's one of those Hasbro Hero things. Don't think they normally have articulation like that, so don't quite know what the deal is with him. This dude, who is quite clearly a Thundercat, one of the modern ones, got massive hands compared to the size of his head, feet, and basically the rest of his body. Maybe this is Scooby-Doo as well, some sort of like underwater monster creature, as you would expect. Maybe Ben 10, some sort of clear blind bag version of Ben 10. This dude, I've got no idea. I think at one point we might have got some motorbikes that go with these weird looking fellas. I forget what they're called now though, it wasn't anything too interesting, but him. A little golden monster, maybe he's like a gold gormity thing perhaps. Yeah, it is. The gold gormity. I'm sure they're worth just as little as the regular versions. This ugly looking fella, he's probably Ben 10. Yep, Rip Jaws. Of course you are. Simba, actually quite a nice little furry Simba there. Got a soft spot for Simba and the Lion King. And this, which looks like the bad guy Snake from Jungle Book, and he's really soft and felty like the Simba too. Might have got a little bit of mould on him perhaps, maybe his pen or something. I don't know, but he's still quite cool. Is his name Shere Khan? I don't know, it might be someone else. A camera. Maybe this came with April O'Neil or someone like that, but it looks like a proper paparazzi camera. This dude, which I don't think is a vintage Transformer, but looks like some sort of meant to transform into something. So I guess that's it in aeroplane mode, and then it just doesn't. I mean, what? Maybe it's meant to have arms here, but how is this its feet unless this opens up? Oh, it does open up. Yeah, oh, Jesus. Yeah, so that can probably go in the trash pile as well there. This guy looks a bit scary for a Scooby-Doo bad guy, but yeah, chances are that's probably a Scooby-Doo bad guy there as well. Another Thundercat. Lion-O there, doing his thing. You've got, I said the Hulk, no, the Thing, clearly meant to be on some sort of car or motorbike of some description. I think this is meant to be Aquaman, perhaps. Looks very different from the Aquaman in the upcoming films. Maybe this is the Flash. I don't know who this one is. I'm a bit lost on him. He's the very small sort of B&M only action figure type size. And then Beast there. His limbs all out of sync and the wrong way round. But really I only wanted this one. I could see there was a lot of trash, but there was a few sort of semi-decent bits in there. So I thought, well, for £1, you can't really complain. So that was a nice first pick up of that Carboot. Set things off to a good tone. Oh, actually, I got these at the first Carboot. Just after I bought all the Ghostbusters stuff. I turned around, there's a 20p box, and you could just see Darkwing Duck sat out there. And it was 20p an item, apparently, so I picked him up. And this dude, who I believe would be the bad guy from Space Precinct, or at least a bad guy from Space Precinct. And a handful of mini Boglins, because, I don't know, I just like mini Boglins, I suppose. And at 20p each, you know, I don't mind paying 50p each for those, but yeah, so we got that handful of bits for £1. That's the sort of prices I like at the boot sales. £1 for a bucket of toys, £1 for a handful of toys, £2 for a MacBook Pro, or whatever the hell it is. That's car boot prices. So, one of the toy traders that's always there, they're quite friendly, nice old ladies, they just bumble around reselling toys. They had this in with all their just random action figures, so I asked them how much for Dracula, and he was only £1, so we had Dracula for £1. There's a fellow who also had a box of toys. He said they were all £1.50, so I pulled out your Sabi Jimbo, as you do. This thing, which I've got no idea what it is, looks like it's meant to have wings to it, and is actually showed. On the back, he's stamped 2004 Jack's Universal Studios. So maybe he's from something. I can't see this being like a Doctor Who thing, so that's normally BBC. Maybe it's that Primal show, something like that. But it looks pretty evil anyway, especially with its weird little evil feet. It looks kind of like a demon. I imagine it might have had demon wings. But yeah, that was really cool. I couldn't really leave him there with a face like that, could you? I mean, that's a just beautiful face. Beautiful. Look at that. Yeah, so he was £1.50. And then I saw this fella. And I was really gutted that he was missing an arm, because I remember sending, I think, this exact one to Ben F. And then I found the arm. But it is broken. The guy said, oh, that just clips back in, but it doesn't really, does it? It clips on there, and then it sits up, and then meant to have a bit running through there. Well, that bit's obviously broken. But just a little bit super glue. I think you'd still keep most of the articulation. It would just hold that in place, hopefully. I even found the hat, because I remember Ben showing me what his hat was. So I got his hat, had a rummage through. There's a couple of Halo figures in there that I thought were probably worth picking up. But they were all missing hands, and I couldn't even find the hands to glue it back on. Did find this weapon. I picked it up and looked at it and thought, oh, that's probably from a Halo figure by the look of things. Not sure if they have those sort of things in Halo. And then bloke came over and he went, oh yeah, that goes with this, you know, old green giant dude. That's his, like, staff. So I didn't argue. I just said, oh, brilliant. Oh, well, there we go. Got the full set there. I don't know, but you can't hold it in any of his hands, so I don't really think it actually is his. But still, I picked these three up. This one, and Usage Jimbo. £1.50 each, or 3 for a £5, it turned out. So that was a pretty good deal. So yeah, that was my car boot haul. Apart from a little bandana that I picked up for 50p as well. That was everything I got today, guys. Even though I got a lot of cool stuff, I always feel a bit gutted when I have to spend money for it. I guess that's just the car boot to me, where I expect to find MacBooks for £2 and boxes of toys for £1, and it's not always like that. I have to just see that sometimes it's worth paying up for. Anyway, guys, I've chatted on longer than I did about the Ghostbusters, so I should probably just shut up and leave you guys to enjoy the rest of your evenings. So that's car boot haul part 2 for this week. Stay tuned for more updates as they come. Thanks, YouTube. Bye.